John Lusky of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another Swhacker broadhead, and this is the 261. It's in the Levi Morgan series. And thanks to a viewer, David Necht, who donated these to me, I can put them to the test. And man, I really appreciate it when viewers donate broadheads like that, because not only do they benefit from seeing the results, I benefit because I have another broadhead to test, but everybody out there in the universe gets to benefit by just seeing how it performs in objective criteria. Then you make the decision if it's a good fit for you or not. And for all the testing, I'm using my protocol for 2024. For a detailed description of that, please check out the video that I posted earlier this year called 2024 Broadhead Test Process. And it'll walk you through all the tests I do and why I do them, how I quantify them, and so forth. For most of the shooting, I'm going to be using my Elite Era that I'm just loving. I'm loving that compound bow. But then for the accuracy testing, to be more precise, I'm using this Killer Instinct SWAT X1 crossbow that is just so stinking fun to shoot. And for all the arrows, I'm using Bishop Archery arrows and bolts. Okay, let's zoom on in here, check out this Swhacker 261, and then put it to the test. So here's a good look at this broadhead, just a classic Swhacker design, some differences with the Levi Morgan series that I'll go through in a bit. But you notice the first thing is it's just very sleek in profile in the closed position. There's just so little exposed blade, just this one little set of blades right there. That's why it's going to fly so well. So the materials, it's got an aluminum ferrule here, and you notice in the Levi Morgan series the ferrules are ribbed, and that's supposedly just going to give it a little bit more durability compared to just the non-ribbed models, the smooth models. It's got a high carbon steel tip that is pretty sharp, but it's really small, and I found that those to be really tough and to aid in penetration as well. And you notice how it's narrow and then it gets wider like that, again, just to aid in penetration. And then the blades are stainless steel. They're 0.032 inches thick. Again, in the closed position, they're about an inch of cutting diameter in the closed position. And you notice that they're angled forward and single beveled right there, just to make it easier to sharpen, and they cut really well as they penetrate. And so the way it works is the blades are held closed in place by this yellow band. Okay, they have these pretty tight bands that hold them very securely in place. And after that tip penetrates, the broadhead slides in. These blades cut, and they cut into the animal. And as they cut, they're forced back, and they break through this band, and then the main blades come out. So here it is without that yellow band, as though it's penetrating into an animal. The band is ripped off like that, and then these main blades are able to open fully. And they call these blades the virgin blades, and that's because they're not dulled at all on impact. A lot of broadheads are dulled as they impact the hide. Hide is really tough on blades. These little blades are dulled on impact, but then after it goes through that entrance, these blades are really sharp, and then they are just free to cut the tissue inside. So you get a small entrance, relatively, just 1 inch, but then after they open, you get really sharp blades cutting the rest of the way. And this is a 2-inch cutting diameter in this case. Now you notice another difference with the Levi Morgan series is that the blades are curved, just to give a bit more efficiency to that cut. So for resharpening of this broadhead, I would use the Stay Sharp Guide C kit. That's what you use. It's designed for any curved blades, concave or convex, just like this. So really eager to put this Swhacker to the test and see how it performs. The Swhacker got the 10 ring. It took 162 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 8 inches. However, I need to qualify something here. The last 1.75 inches is just the tip, not the blades, because it extends so far beyond the blades. And then the first 2 inches or so, it didn't open. It's just, as by design, it's just the original 1-inch cut. So there was only about 4 inches of the total cut where the blades were open. So it's going to get penalized a little bit for that because it's not cutting as much tissue as it looks, and that's why it's penetrating extra far. And here's the initial impact. You can see the cut is just the head in the closed position. It's that 1-inch cut. It took an additional 43 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is an 8.26 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 40 layers. Now that would be a 5.7 on a 10-point scale, but I'm deducting a point because the last 1.75 inches of that is just that long, narrow tip, and I don't want to give it a false reading for penetration. Here it is after the 3 shots through the MDF, and it's in really good shape, except the blades got a little bit more arced back, which is not uncommon for a curved blade. It's just the cutting diameter got decreased because the blades squished back just a bit. Here it is after just 1 shot through the steel plate. In the past, a lot of people complained that I was shooting the Swackers in the open position. They said it's not a fair test of the blade strength. So I shot it in the closed position, and you can see what happened in the first shot. The leading blades, that 1 inch of cutting blade that penetrates the tissue first, both of those broke off on the first shot into the steel plate. So here it is after all the durability testing, and on the steel plate on the first shot, these leading blades, the deployment blades, broke off. So, then there's no way to get them to deploy. But I went ahead and shot it into the cinder block anyway, and it did really well in the cinder block, as you can see. So what'd you think? Man, there's a lot of good things to like about this broadhead. It's kind of a mixed bag at the same time. Like, I rate broadheads in 5 basic areas: in their flight, in their cut size, in their sharpness and edge retention, their durability, and their penetration, because I think those are the big 5 when it comes to testing a broadhead. And when I do that with this head, in flight, fantastic. I mean, look at this, such a low exposed blade. That thing is just going to be very forgiving in flight, especially the shorter models. In terms of the blades, I mean, the blades did quite well. Got a B+, if you would, in terms of their sharpness and their edge retention. And then in terms of the cut size, that was also pretty good. However, because they're over the top deploying, you get a really little cut going in and then a bigger cut within. So that averaged out to what would be a B- in the score sheet there. And then for penetration, the penetration was not very good. They got like what would be a C- in the penetration. And then when it came to the durability was just average, like C. So you can look through the score sheet that's in the video description, see all the details. I just try to summarize it in that kind of a way. So stay tuned to see the scores and see the cumulative score as well as the corresponding Lust grade, and see if this head might be a good fit for you. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer to save money on a lot of different broadheads. And I update those regularly in the video description. I can access that and change those even after the video is posted, but I can only put what I have at the time in the video when it's posted. I hope that makes sense. But I'm just trying to pass on a lot of savings to you. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to David Knecht for donating this broadhead to test, and I look forward to seeing you next time.